What's the button? Welcome in, everybody. For me, it's Sunday morning, December 28th, but this show was December 27th, 2025 is the Body Slam post show for AEW Worlds End, the final major pay-per-view for Major Pro Wrestling for 2025. We have made it to the final week of 2025. I'm Max Denenberg, as always, and now joining me for our first team up on the AEW post shows is my good friend Rami. We've been doing every WWE post show for the last 6 months, but now Rami is now Mr. AEW joining me on this AEW Worlds End pay-per-view. Rami, how you doing today?
I love that, like Mr. AEW over here. I love it. I have always loved AEW's work. There was like maybe like a 5 month period during like the 5 month wave, where like 5 year wave where I wasn't feeling it, but you can always come back to it. It's an alternative, and the wrestling has come on point in the last, like in the last 2.5 years and everything. We've been able to see a huge resurgence back in with All Elite Wrestling. Tonight's show was another big factor of just how great it is. And just wow. Th- I went like 0 and like 10. I felt like the New York Jets. I was like just no wins at all of my predictions because I thought, we'd see a certain finals. We got a
Yeah.
completely different one. We got General versus General, and it was just a meat mash, and I cannot wait to talk about it. But of course, it's of course 9 p.m. here in the West Coast. It's midnight there in Philly.
Yeah.
So just can't wait to get started with this. Hopefully we get a bunch of comments and a bunch of people voicing their opinions and their thoughts about the whole show.
Yep. Daria, I
Um,
see you on YouTube. Kayla, thanks for the like on Facebook. And thanks, Kayla, for joining us on Facebook as well. Thank you. Thank you.
always,
Thank you.
always.
If you're joining us, please comment. We'll bring up your comments like this. We love commenters talking to us throughout the show. Hit that like button again to follow us on across all socials. I don't want to promote too much because this is a pretty long show. We got to get through so much, and it is late here on the East Coast. So we're going to try to get to at least an hour 20, hopefully. But AEW World's End, final pay-per-view of the year in the Now Arena in Chicago. This is actually kind of an interesting start question I have for you, Rami. Usually AEW crowds nowadays, because these shows are so long, do get very tired. I thought this crowd in particular was very tired tonight. Like it was a crowd to me that was very hot at the beginning. I think after the Moxley match, it was kind of hit or miss for the rest. The first Moxley match with Fletcher. I thought the rest of the show kind of was hit or miss crowd wise. Now that could just be me. I wasn't there in the arena. I don't know if I was mistaken, but did you have a takeaway of the crowd, or is that just
I
me?
think the sound bites of what we got from, of course, like the audio, it just did
Yeah.
not pick up. Like there was a moment even like the main event where I was even like, huh, with the Muscle Buster. And usually you'd get a really big pop from that, from
Yeah.
especially kicking out of something like of a devastating finisher like that. And the crowd was just like you hear some pop, but then you don't really hear, that massive one. I feel like they were pretty
Yeah.
freaking tired and just like, already seeing so many 11 matches. It's not their fault and it's not AEW's fault. It's just the excitement that we get. We can't always have like so much, of course,
Yep.
big build and excitement with us, especially heading into match number 10 of an already exciting exciting night that we already saw. But I do feel that the earlier shows we see different, example
Yeah.
like when they went overseas for what, what was it, All Out? Or was it Forbidden Door?
Yeah.
Or
Toronto.
was it
Yeah.
Forbidden?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they went overseas and everything, you see a much, of course, earlier crowd. They're able to experience it in a much different way, and of course, put out their, cheers, boos, roars, all that. So when at the end of the day, I feel like the earlier time crowds pick it up better than they do than the later crowds. Later times, like nine, especially whatever time it is in Chicago.
Yeah,
Um,
it's late.
I,
It's late.
it's late. I don't know how the time works. I'm barely learning Mountain Time these days.
Yeah, so I think I do agree. I talked about this with Rami before we went on the air. I think if you are doing like a Midwest East Coast show, I think it would be better to do like a day. If you want to go 4 or 5 hours, at 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, you would keep the crowd. It is tough when you're doing shows in New York, or even if you're in Toronto for East Coast crowds, them being that hype for at midnight for matches. But also, that's the positivity of having such great matches, because they really did have. I don't think they had any like okay, like the matches tonight, at least on the main show, I thought were either good to excellent throughout the whole night. So there's not a lot of complaints from me. We have a long card, so let's get right into it. Rami here with the kickoff show. We had
Yes.
Sinister Sin. That's Julia Hart and Sky Blue defeating newly signed as full-time AEW wrestlers Hyon and Maya World. 6-minute match. This kind of accomplished two things. One, got the hometown girl Sky Blue on this show, which the crowd was very hyped about that. But also, Tony Khan rewarding Maya World and Hyon, people who were put in a very weird situation with the Miranda Alizé, Nixon Newell situation at least a month or so ago. And Tony just kept using them after the fact. And we've seen before in AEW, Rami, where people being used as quote unquote jobbers, if that was for AEW Dark or Ring of Honor, or even just main AEW, we've seen a lot of those people turn into mainstays in AEW. That's like the Acclaim, for example, or Powerhouse Hobbs. They can name a lot more people. But now that turns into Maya World and Hyon. Obviously, Sinisters of Sin won the match. Their finish is really cool as well. But what were your thoughts on this opening match to start the show, Rami?
I of course, like you of course used all the best words to describe that. Got Sky Blue on the card, be able to show out, and was able to allow Hyen and Maya World to go out there, perform for the crowd. And for the last couple of weeks, they've been known. I've been seeing a lot of comments, the professionals, people say, and it recognizes it off. When I spoke with her in September, Hyen, one of the key factors that she spoke about was just how on time and ready she has been for every single opportunity that has come this past year, including an opportunity where in September she fought Marina Shafir at Defy Wrestling for the championship, unsuccessful. But another person that was on that card was John Moxley. He fought Royce Isaacs, another really big name that I've spoke to, and another name that, of course, should be on a big signing someday now. He's worked with TNA, worked with AEW, worked with Ring of Honor, worked a lot of these dates and everything. So
Yeah.
when you see High End, Maya World, all of these wrestlers from the independent scene show up and show out these big opportunities, whether you're on Ring of Honor, whether you're on that one match on AEW Dynamite, I don't know, and it's just Virginia or just Buffalo, anywhere of these places, you
Yeah.
get this opportunity where you get this call, like we've seen, in the last 20 or so years throughout the decades of wrestling. If you get that opportunity and you show out, you get an opportunity to keep building yourself and leveling yourself up. Hyatt has been ready for this opportunity for the last couple of years. Maya World is so young, very exciting talent. She's worked the LA scene. She's worked, of course, all over Texas. So I'm very, very excited to see them continue as a tag team, and of course, very, very happy for them to sign this contract after fighting Marina Shafir. High of course, spoke about like just how willing she'd be to just get any opportunity. When you get Ring of Honor dates, when you get AEW dates, you capitalize on those, and you make the best of them. So I'm very excited to see what happens next going forward.
Yes, I think it's very exciting, and it really does show you, as you can see, I think it's inspiring to other pro wrestlers out there. Because AEW and Tony Khan give a lot of opportunities for people like them, and just to handle things professionally, and you get rewarded for it. So a very cool moment for them to be on the pay-per-view. And then in the middle of the show, Tony Khan making that announcement on Twitter, very cool moment for them. Can't wait to see it, especially now with the women's tag team championships. We need tag teams in this tag division, so very exciting for them.
Very.
Next match, Eddie Kingston defeated Zach Gibson of the Grizzled Young Veterans. This was a feud that they just started last night on Ring of Honor, where Eddie Kingston beat James Drake in New York at the Hammerstein. After the match, Gibson and Drake beat him up, left him laying. So
Mhm.
that set up the kickoff match. Now Gibson got to face Eddie Kingston. Again, Grizzled Young Veterans are a really good tag team, very underrated. Zach hit a really great, it was like a code breaker, but he jumped from the top rope to hit it on Eddie. It was very good. Eddie's been getting better and better since this injury. His first couple matches out of the gate post the injury with Gabe Kidd weren't that great, left a lot to be desired, but I thought his match of Samoa Joe for the world title at Winter is Coming was really good. And he is getting his back in the groove of things. But we knew Eddie Kingston was going to get the win. Ortiz comes back, who hasn't been on TV in a very long time. So it looks like we're going to get Eddie Kingston Ortiz probably versus Grizzled Young Vets in the near future. But Rami, what were your thoughts on the match and seeing Ortiz back in AEW?
Very happy to see Ortiz back in action on TV, especially. He made a return off TV, maybe a couple of weeks ago. Just had a match before Dynamite or so. And it's just been very exciting to see Eddie Kingston back. Hopefully, these two do get a tag team match, of course, at a future pay-per-view. Like, you know what I mean? Like, January is coming up. Let's see a match happen there, whether it's a 0 hour show or just even on, just the main card. But I would like to see the Grizzled Young Vets win. As you've mentioned, they're very underrated, and I would like to see that start capitalizing because when they were brought in, I thought, with the whole let's leave, the other major company, let's come here, let's
Yeah.
have this big run going. And I feel like that we haven't seen, that momentum shift to the positive side. So hopefully the new year comes in. Like this is the final show of the year. There's not thinking of anything of, oh, what's going to happen for the rest of the year. This is about
Yeah.
2026 and the new chapter that you can build. So Grizzled Young Vets, hopefully they win this feud. Like Eddie's gonna show up and Eddie's gonna show out. So it's gonna be really nice to see him bust out that ring rust and do what he's got to do. Ortiz, I'm so excited about him being back. Very, very exciting name. Very rowdy, very crazy. I was watching back a couple years ago on HBO Max, like all the years of AEW and of course Santana and Ortiz and just their work that they put in. So to see him and of course more tag team action, especially with Eddie Kingston, the boys. So it's gonna be really nice. I thought we were gonna get Hook with that. We didn't. Hook's back with the Ops. So of course maybe that sets up as well. Maybe Hook and Shabbat or a Hobbs
Yeah.
against Ortiz and Kingston. They get involved. They do something. You never know.
I agree. I think we do need to see follow up on the Eddie Kingston Hook thing. It's a big thing that they haven't really. Eddie's brought it up
Yeah.
in multiple promos, but they haven't really followed. They haven't put Eddie and Hook on screen together. So
Maybe
it's
the ending of tonight's pay-per-view sets
yeah.
that up. Also, I realized something. It looks like my name is Konosuke Takeshita and yours is John Moxley.
Oh, I know. Well, guess.
It's
Hey,
it's just funny. At least we have the names over there. Like you know what I mean.
he's very
Like
funny. He does John
if we
Mox.
didn't, then this somebody be like, whoa, like racial profiling over here.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Well, guess
But
what?
man,
Let's call
come
it a
on now.
compliment that we are in the same breath as John Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes, we will get to them in just a second. We also had a tag match between the Don Callis family of Rocky Romero and Mark Davis. They lost to Mascara Dorada and Bandito. Again, this is a good way to, once again, get Bandito on the show. Mascara Dorada was in the Continental Classic, won a couple of matches, had a really good showing in the Continental Classic. He's early 20s, just an amazing star. Clearly, AEW sees him as him and Hechicero, their two favorite guys they like to use from CMLL. So very cool to see them on the show. Again, Bandito doesn't seem to be doing much with Brody King post losing the tag titles. And Bandito still is the Ring of Honor world champion. I got to be honest, when I watch Mark Davis, I just always feel, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I just always feel so bad because Aussie Open was such a top tier tag team and he got hurt twice and it led to Kyle Fletcher becoming the Kyle Fletcher we know today. And now Mark Davis is kind of where he is at this point. It is a shame that most people now forget how good Aussie Open is and how good Mark Davis is. But that's just my little rant on that. But again, good way to get Mascara, Dorada, and Bandito a win. And as I said, good to see Mark Davis and Rocky on the show. So what are your thoughts, Rami, on this little tag match?
I'm hoping that the new year does bring Mark Davis back to that brute strength that he is and like able to, because he dealt with those little setbacks with those two injuries, but he's back in action and he was showing off really well tonight. So that was always nice to see. No offense to Rocky Romero, but he's like that ultimate guy that if you need him to go in a match and get his ass whooped, then go right ahead. Like it's just so
Kayla said the
good.
same thing, Rami. She said the second I saw Rocky and Newman Davis were losing because Rocky's always the one that gets. What
Exactly.
she
It's
said, Rami.
lock the fuck in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always so funny to see that happen. But on top of that, sorry, I lost my train of thought and everything because I was looking at the Continental Classic. That doesn't happen usually, but of course, being able to see Rocky Romero out there get his ass whooped, it was really nice. But Davis, hopefully he's able to, of course, turn things around. Their opponents, who were they again? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. He
No,
was
you're
very,
good.
very
Vasco
good.
Dorado and Bandito defeating Mark Davis.
Mascara Dorado Bandito. Thank you so much. For Bandito, he did defeat Ricochet this past week
Yes.
on of course Collision, was it? Or
Oh, Dynamite.
Dynamite
Yeah,
or
yeah. Dynamite. Yeah.
Dynamite it was. And so he's got the, the ring. Now he will fight MJF,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, for the World Championship. So that will be exciting, but that's also going to be very interesting to see what route that takes because who gets involved and who, tries to strike at that. It was a good showing just for the pre-show match, you know what I mean? Get people on the card, get them able to be active and whatnot. And Mark Davis, like you mentioned, like it's sad to see, the way the setbacks have turned because of course you want to see both guys be successful. They came
Yes.
into AEW, they wanted to be the very best tag team. One injury happened, build up happened from there, glow up happened, Protostar got created, but there's still Mark Davis who can really be an animal, and I think that putting him in these matches and keeping him fresh will assumably so build into 2026 where it's really gonna be very exciting because he's the type of guy where you'd say, yeah, I want to see him feud with Brody King. And he's the type of guy where you say, okay, I want to see
Yeah.
him go against, Okada now and actually have a really good, strong match with them. And there's so much that happened tonight with the pay-per-view that now you have to wonder yourself, 2026 has so many open slots of main event guys.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things that we're going to talk about, of course, tonight, where there was a really good match. And I think that it got the crowd going, but of course, it got the crowd going, so they were getting very tired.
It sure did. Let's move into our final kickoff match here. Jet Speed and Jurassic Express get the win over Josh Alexander and The Demand. Before the match, Gates of Agony and Ricochet were beating up Jurassic Express. Luchasaurus
Yeah, they fucking kicked their asses.
was taken out of the action. And like the last couple minutes of the match, Luchasaurus came back in and distracted. And Jungle Jack Perry, excuse me. He pinned Ricochet.
Yeah, buddy.
I know. He pinned Ricochet. So he's getting a national championship match this Wednesday on Dynamite. But again, we just saw Jack Perry in the Continental Classic. Another guy, people forget how good he is in the ring, had a really good performances in his last couple Continental Classic matches. Obviously, we saw Jet Speed have very successful. I mean, freaking Kevin Knight beating Okada last week was really exciting. I think him and Speedball could be in line, even though they've already feuded with FTR. I think they're going to be future tag team champions in 2026. But yeah, we're going to get Jack Perry versus Ricochet. That was kind of the point of this match, was have Ricochet take a pin so we can have a big title match for New Year's Eve.
He's taking 2 pins now, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Bandito pinned him, so Bandito's got a shot there. Jungle Jack Perry pinned him, so he's got
that's
a
the
shot
problem
now.
when you have so many championships. You can't have all the champions win all, some of these people do have to take pins sometimes.
Well, no, but that's the thing, though. It also shows just how, like I guess mentioned, like that open slot of a lot of guys who can really take that next big step. Jungle Jack Perry had a very, very good showing, of course, in the Continental Classic. Despite only having 6 points in the Gold League, he still went against the likes of course, what do you call it? Kyle Fletcher, Kevin Knight, Okada, and of course, just doing his absolute best to stay active, stay in there, but still showing that the singles action is his style. He matched their styles. He matched everybody's fit to going against Speedball Mike Bailey, going against Pac, going against Kevin Knight, Okada, and Fletcher, and just trying to find a way to fit their style. Whether he got a win over them or whether he had a good showing, I think it was really nice to see that happen. Luchasaurus, it was very funny to see him have his music play, and a lot of people were like, "What? Who the fuck? Who the fuck's gonna come out?" You thought like somebody who works at a dealership was gonna come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But of course, good showing, good from everybody. I really do enjoy to see what do you call it? Um, Josh Alexander. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Josh Alexander. If I could see him wrestle every single night, it'll always be fun to see. But Jet Speed, Jurassic Express, Josh Alexander, all names that are going to have a really big 2026. And Ricochet is already a big champion, so he's already
Yes.
had a big 2025. So won the Diamond Ring, lost it, might lose his that national championship. So we're gonna see how that goes. And
We'll
Bishop
see.
Khan and Toa Leona, of course, having their feud with Lashley and Benjamin. Hopefully, there's more for them in the future, gold wise, in the new year.
Yeah, I think again, Ricochet had an amazing 2025. I think a lot of people weren't that excited. People when he went to AEW were really doubtful of what this would be, but he's really made himself as popular as he's ever been. So all credit to Ricochet. Again, this was a good way to.
He's made Bald funnier, but Bald
That's
is
right.
always funnier.
He certainly has. I think it's good that Jurassic Express is back together. There's real excitement for Jack Perry for the first time in a very long time, which is very good. And again, Jet Speed are very over. So happy with this match. Let's get into this main show. We got a lot to talk about. So if you're joining us anywhere, YouTube, Twitch, let's say Twitter, all those things, please comment along like Kayla is. I see your Kayla's comment here on the main event. We're going to get to that comment once we hit the main event, but please comment along. We have so many people already, 5 hearts and a couple likes as well. We really appreciate you guys, the support.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Means a lot to us because we were up here. It's 12:30 in the morning for me, so it's
Exactly.
it feels really good that people are here
Like
watching.
there was so much today. Football, wrestling, you know what I mean? Like just everything going on. Now then tomorrow it's gonna be an early morning of it first of continuation of football and everything. I'm trying to
Oh
get
yeah,
my best 10 hours of sleep. So watching wrestling, I'm like, my God, 11 matches? You're taking me back to 2005 over here.
yeah. A lot of
But
matches.
good time. Good
Yeah.
times.
Let's get into this main show, Rami. We started off, of course, at the Continental Classic semifinals because the winners of these 2 matches had to wrestle each other. Later on the show, we started with, for many people, the most anticipated match on the show, Kazuchika Okada defeating Konosuke Takeshita. Now, this was a match that has been built up all year long. Them, infighting in the Don Callis family. Takeshita won the G1 and then won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
My goat.
Okada is the unified champion, even though no longer the unified. We'll get to my rant on the stupidity of what has happened with the unified championship. But Okada now, I thought this match was awesome. There was an amazing counter in this match where Okada was going for the Rainmaker and Takeshita turned into the Blue Thunder Bomb. I thought that was really good. But the finish is what was kind of botched. So the finish was Okada got the screwdriver, the Don Callis screwdriver for the finish. Now, something was off with the timing because by the time Paul Turner was over there, he probably should have never been looking at like the corner because it was like Okada moved any of the stuff from the corner. So there wasn't like he should have been distracted. And he kind of had to sell he was distracted so Okada could hit Takeshita with the screwdriver. So Okada wins cheaply. Obviously, we're going to get this match probably at least 2 more times, I think, in 2026. Both of them will be in the Tokyo Dome a week from tonight, wrestling in the last 2 matches on the show. So what I thought the match was excellent. I thought the finish was wonky. It was just a timing issue with the finish. But I thought overall, I thought the match was pretty awesome. So, Rami, what were your thoughts on Takeshita Okada won here?
17 minutes of just an absolute badass match. The finish, yeah, I was like, huh, they're gonna go with that. But it made it so much better when we got to the next match. And then, and someone was trying to look for that certain screwdriver and they're like, where the fuck is my goddamn shit? I put that here. Where the fuck is it? And so I was like, oh my God, Chef Kish. But like, it was really nice to, of course, see Okada and Takeshita fight each other in the final, week of the year. I thought we were gonna get this at Wrestle Kingdom. I legit thought like a month and a half ago that we were gonna get this for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and that it was gonna be some like big ass fucking showdown. But no, Konosuke is gonna be having his own battle, trying to fight the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, and then again unification, I believe. And then we're gonna have Okada and Tanahashi and his retirement match. So like we got like some of the absolute best out of Okada in the last like 3 freaking months,
Yep.
4 months. Like his schedule ramped up to where he was like, okay, I gotta do the Continental Classic, easy, but I'm also gonna be showing off with these title defenses beforehand. Can also get Takeshita winning the G1. Like this was the match that you wanted for Wrestle Kingdom. You thought to yourself that this
Yeah.
is the perfect way to end off a night at the Tokyo Dome, 6 stars and everything. But to give these guys 17 minutes to kick each other's asses in the opener of a pay-per-view, just what a showing for them. As pained as I was like, you know what? Okada's the guy that always wins, and it really reminded me. I was like, this guy's like the Los Angeles Dodgers. Like he got back to the World Series and everybody fucking hates him. So I'm like, okay, I can fuck with this. Like I've seen people get hate on, so I was like, all right, let's go, let's go. So
Yep.
defeating Konosuke Takeshita broke my heart a bit, but it was all worth it in the end.
Yep. I thought I was with you now. I just to promote as something as well. Me and Blackhawk, who usually is here with my for AEW. We have a podcast called Tour
Oh,
of Japan.
really?
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying. We have our Tour of Japan podcast every single Friday. We've been a bit on a hiatus, but we're going to be back this upcoming Friday at 7:00, doing a full Wrestle Kingdom preview, and then this Sunday night or whatever, Sunday morning, whatever. We'll be doing a live post show. I'm not sleeping that day. I stay up every year for Wrestle Kingdom. It's like my WrestleMania usually. It's how I feel about it. So we're going to be, I don't know when our live stream is going to be starting. If it's 4 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m., we're going live for the Wrestle Kingdom post show. We have been talking to a lot about would Tony Khan give, honestly, that match to New Japan, because those are two not New Japan people. I know Takeshita is signed under New Japan as well as DDT, but he is seen as a AEW guy, and obviously Okada is very much an AEW guy. So I thought we did think at some point they would do this match in AEW first, but then when obviously things did not work out with the Nakamura Tanahashi thing, it made sense to pivot to Okada being in that spot, and then obviously Takeshita and Tsuji will be very good. So, but again, Okada did get that main event for the Tokyo Dome. It will be Tanahashi and Okada in the main event. Tsuji and Takeshita will be in the penultimate.
I'm gonna bawl my fucking eyes out the whole time.
Yeah, we will see if there's anything connective, because they're both going to be in the last two matches. Will they continue the storyline into the Tokyo Dome? I'm very fascinated by that as well.
I think so. Because Wednesday is gonna be very exciting, dude. Wednesday is like fucking huge.
Wednesday, and the reports are they're all leaving that night for Japan. So everyone's going to be on Dynamite this week, and then everyone will be off to Japan for the Tokyo Dome and the Wrestle Kingdom. So that time of the year, it's the new year, and it's probably my most looking forward to show of the year, which is Wrestle Kingdom as a big New Japan guy. Let's move on to, honestly, this might be my favorite match of the night, if not my second. Jon Moxley defeating Kyle Fletcher in the Continental Classic semifinals. Now, going into this match, or going into the show, I really did think it would be Fletcher winning the whole thing. Now, when Okada won, I said, Fletcher's really going to win over Moxley and beat Okada again. Because again, Fletcher, the first match of the Continental Classic.
That would be super over at that fucking point. Like you just beat two gods in one night.
And he's already he beat Okada in the first match of the Continental Classic this year. So that's when I was like, maybe Mox is going to win. Now, the story of the show was pure babyface Jon Moxley. We're going to break down his promo later on the show in his match with Okada, but I thought this match absolutely delivered. I thought Fletcher, for me, was the MVP of the Continental Classic. Every one of his matches were the standouts on all of those shows. He's clearly, I think, has a chance to be AEW World Champion in 2026, maybe beating it off Will Ospreay. I think at some point in 2026 would be ideal for Fletcher. But the whole storyline was, we went to this match, everyone's like, will they give Moxley a babyface reaction, or will they be cheering for Fletcher? And the crowd was overwhelmingly supporting Jon Moxley. And Bryan Danielson's like, everyone, I guess, forgot that they beat me up and turned on me in this very arena. And now they're all cheering for Jon Moxley. But I honestly think this is a really funny thing that I don't think many people were expecting for Jon Moxley. At the beginning of the year, he was one of those hated people in pro wrestling.
Dude.
The first 4 or 5 months of
Last
the year. Hated.
last year, this time around last year, I was sick for like 2 weeks straight. I watched AEW bedridden, and I would always say, God damn it, just please lose the title to Jay White, to Cope, to Christian Cage, to
Yeah.
anybody that was trying to, even Orange Cassidy. Like, I'm not saying that as a bad way, but I'm saying any person that was there win the goddamn title off of Moxley. He was the most hated guy. We all wanted him to lose the title, and then when he lost to Hangman, we wanted him to lose to, Darby, to Kyle O'Reilly, to every single person that they put him against. And then I was even saying, go winless in this entire tournament.
Yeah.
Lose to every single person. You know what I mean? And then he made this so believable to where he got the most, like, in a way, underdog wins. And it was like, you know
He
what?
did.
We're gonna just start, like, rooting for this guy. We might as well. And it's funny too, like, because as he mentioned, Daniel said, they suffocated me with a freaking plastic bag and they tried to kill me. But let's also remember John Moxley did fight CM Punk, was it? He
Yeah.
did fight CM Punk in Chicago and
Yeah.
everything. So with those two fighting and whatnot, it was very mixed because everyone's gonna always love John Moxley. He's just a great, great wrestler and a great guy. So no matter what, you're gonna always have that. Yeah, he might have killed Danielson. Yeah, he might have snapped some people's necks. Yeah, he might be like a psychopath, but he's still John Moxley. You know what I mean? Like, he's still
He
gonna
is.
be that wrestling genius that we all love. But him getting this cheer tonight did shock me
Yeah.
because I'm thinking that Kyle Fletcher is the most over guy, which he is. He's very over,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking that he's gonna have the whole night, everyone chanting his name, like freaking, like just making the whole night about him. And when he tries to look for that screwdriver and he can't freaking find it, and then he gets hit with a paradigm shift, gets the put in a sleeper hold and goes out. When he went out like that, that was like the most stone cold shot right there. Like, I hope that they make that into like a frame on AEW shop or whatever. Just that beautiful shot of the sleeper hold.
Yeah.
And Moxley was just not expected to do any of this. And right there, that's the Toronto Blue Jays. You know what I mean? At that point, that's the Toronto Blue Jays. They were not expected to do anything at all in baseball, and they got it, and then they'll get into that damn World Series. And this is the universe where Toronto would actually win this. But my
Wow.
goodness,
There we go. I knew that was coming. I was waiting for it, Rami. I was
oh
waiting
man,
for
oh
it.
man, I just had to. I just
I
had to.
agree. It was Mox and Kyle did rule, Kayla. I thought this match absolutely
Yeah,
was great.
very.
Blackhawk,
I
what good looking fellas. Blackhawk, thank you for joining us as
thank you
you're
so
on Twitch.
much.
I do want to say there was a couple spots in this match I want to talk about. The first one, there was a filthy brain buster by Fletcher on the apron, and Moxley sold like the hell out of it. The scariest spot in this match was Moxley hit a half and half suplex from the top rope, and it looked like Fletcher fell right on his head.
Yeah,
And the whole crowd like gasped and was in
gasped.
silence because it looked like he could have broken his neck. He landed right on his head, not his neck, luckily. But that was a really scary spot in the match. But Fletcher really, and then as you said, Fletcher was then looking for the screwdriver like everywhere. And I think there's really good Don Callis dilemma stuff going into Wednesday where you have Okada screwing Takeshita, and obviously Callis put it there for a reason to maybe screw Takeshita. But then you also have Fletcher being like, that was supposed to be there for my match, not for Okada. So very interesting thing there. Fletcher really sold the finish though, because he passed out and then he literally woke up 5 seconds later and was like, oh, we got to keep fighting. And then he like stopped. So I found it to be
it felt so real, you know what I
me too,
mean? It felt
Kayla.
like,
Scared everyone in the arena too. The arena was petrified
yeah,
by what happened.
I
Petrified.
would I was not, what do you call it? Not like in a bad way, but I was like, oh my God, like for anything like that to happen, you just hope that the wrestler's okay, no matter how crazy that they go in the ring
Yep.
and all the adrenaline that they're feeling. But Mike, what a match it was, and that was only 2 matches into the main show. Like, we already
Crazy.
had like we already had a pretty good appetizer and everything. We're like, all right, let's see how the whole 12-course meal is. And my goodness, they're already just giving us the fucking most fulfilling meals possible. So next one, of course, freaking Chicago Street Fighter.
Yeah. I do
What?
want to, sorry, really quick. I do want to say after the match too, Fletcher did attack Moxley, like
Yeah, chop block. Hit
chop
him with
block
that chop
him
block.
to make sure to sell you that Moxley is so injured. And also, Moxley broke a tooth in this match, and I was like,
Oh yeah, in the most simple
crazy.
way possible. Like he just tripped over, hit his tooth on the freaking like
It
step,
it
and then
was great.
popped up.
It's crazy
Like
he had to wrestle another match after that.
w-
Like
yeah,
crazy.
it's so funny too because like this guy, like it's not like he's made out of paper or anything, but it's the fact that his tooth can chip, he can get busted wide open, he'll still be like, it's okay, I can keep going. When's my
Yep.
next match? Ring the bell. Like
It was
my
very
God.
impressive. I'll get into my more Moxley rant towards the end of the show, but let's get into the match you were about to bring up, which is the Chicago Street Fight for the tag team championships. FTR defeating the Bang Bang Gang. I've talked about this on these post shows all year. Tough year for the Bang Bang Gang because Jay White has not been really active this year, sadly. Colin Gunn recently getting injured. So basically, they've never really had all four members of this group healthy at the same time for all of 2025. Sadly, but Austin Gunn and Juice have really done a good job building some tag team camaraderie over the last 4 or 5 months. Have done a really good job. Them and Juice in particular and FTR have such great chemistry because again, their tag match of FTR and Jay White and Juice is one of the best tag matches in AEW's history. We had some fire extinguishers in this match. Stokely took a table spot where he completely missed the table and hit his back of his head on the announce table.
Oh
It was
my
filthy.
God.
And then even Cash later did this tope dive, and he's the one who took the table spot. It was supposed to be Austin who kind of like fell through the table, but even Cash fell through it. But FTR got the win with the Shatter Machine and the double pile drivers on the belt. It's just one of my favorite FTR matches, of the year. But again, they always deliver as tag team champions. Luckily, I think this feud is finally over, and the FTR can move on to maybe like a Jet Speed or a Jurassic Express or some other teams. But Rami, what were your thoughts of Bang Bang Gang and FTR?
I was manifesting that Jay White, return, but of
Yeah,
course we didn't get that. I was manifesting anything like of a big surprise to come out because of course to try to, sum it up to take out Stokely. He's got no hose and you don't want him to get that upper hand.
yeah,
So, but like with FTR finally, of course, getting that, win to end off the feud and to move on from this. Juice, Austin, phenomenal and to be able to, of course, have this match and be so blood. They showed off. They had a great match. So
yep,
there's no what do you call it, telling about how strong and resilient you need those two guys to be, especially with how the Bang Bang Gang has been getting so much just um injuries and
yeah,
setbacks and feelings of like not being able to get that big one despite them not being able to do it tonight. The new year is just around the corner, you know what I mean? So and when they get those guys back, I think that there's gonna be a lot. They're gonna have maybe even like run maybe a path like the ops have where you're able to get those maybe championships on your back and be able to get that world title finally around Jay White's waist. He was a big signing for AEW, and
yeah.
that's all you want to be able to see is him get to that main event picture and be able to be the heel that we all love him to be.
Yeah, and also Ace Austin is in this group, and they haven't really
Of
used
course.
Ace. They haven't really used Ace that much. I would do if I were them now being out of the tag team. I would do full on trios with Austin, Juice, and Ace, and then that can allow when Jay comes back to Jay to be able to do a singles run, not focus on trios or tag. Because again, Jace hasn't had a good singles run in AEW yet. I hated his booking with the MJF feud. It was just they made him look really dumb at Full Gear that year, and I think everyone's ready for Jay White to have a proper world title feud because he's a
It
top.
was turning it was turning around for him when he was feuding with Hangman Page,
Yeah,
you know, but like of course when the injury got struck, then there was of course, just waiting for him to come back and see what happens next. And while the people he was feuding with all, either world champions or trying to get back to that world championship, it's gonna be very interesting how he feels coming back to all of this. He's not gonna be very happy to see how many times the title has switched hands.
yep, I agree. So yeah, FTR wins. I think both these we see good futures for these two teams heading into 2026. Move on with more tag team wrestling. We have the women's tag team championship match. Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale defeated Athena, and who's the Ring of Honor Women's Champion for over 1,100 days, and Mercedes Moné, who is still the TBS champion, but she just dropped both her ROH TV championship and her Rev Pro Undisputed Championship over the last month. They lose. Willow pinning Mercedes Moné. Again, I am someone who watches Ring of Honor. We're probably the only person, I guess, on Honor Club every week. But Athena is must-watch TV, and she continues to show off on these AEW shows, what people miss, I guess, if you don't watch Ring of Honor. Her tope was really good. There's a spot where Harley did a tope, but Athena caught her outside of the ring. I thought that spot was really good. Mercedes propelled her into an O-face stunner, which I thought was really nice. But the match is the big story here is Willow pins Mercedes, which is going to lead to a TBS title match on Wednesday. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on this. We're going to talk about Mercedes' promo also in just a second. I thought this match was very good. I think we need more actual women's tag teams in the mix, if that's a Sinisters of Sin. Because I do think AEW is just combining a lot of singles wrestlers and just making them teams. I do want to see storylines with true tag teams in AEW. But again, this is how you get Athena. Good to have Athena on these shows, Mercedes as well. So I thought it was a really good match. Harley, again, also keeps getting better and better the more she gets these reps. And she also works better in a tag team as well. But Rami, what were your thoughts on this women's tag title matchup here?
Harley Cameron's been getting so much better as the year goes on. Last December, of course, she was heading into a big match with Mercedes Moné for the championship. So now that for her to come into this December, beating of course the team of Moné and Athena, having all these big spots, Willow Nightingale being able to be back into that TBS championship picture, it's really, really good to be able to see those two not only win the AEW Women's Tag Team Championships, the inaugural Women's World Tag Team Championships, but be able to have one of the first defenses, a couple of defenses be against Mercedes Moné and Athena, the forever champion, the ultimo, Moné and everything. So
Yeah.
being able to pick up that momentum, it really does add on to that. The AEW media scrum just started, by the way.
Yeah.
It just finally started after
It's
52
45 minutes
I'm
into our post show.
Geez Louise. But I'm very happy for them to retain the tag team championships. You want them to have a pretty good long reign, so it's gonna be seeing where it goes from there. Mercedes Moné did cut a promo afterwards. She was pissed, and she said that she was going to, and I quote, "I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fucking beat your ass."
Yes, that's what she said.
Willow Nightingale. So I'm like, and that they did not censor that at all. They full on allowed that word to be used, and I was like, that's beautiful. Let's go, Willow. Willow needs to win the championship this Wednesday. I
have two very mixed feelings on it because I want Mercedes' last championship she has to be the TBS championship, then lose it. She still has all these other championships. So I wish she would lose everything and then she has to really grasp onto the TBS championship and then she loses it. And also, I think AEW needs to stop having wrestlers have multiple championships. Like Willow needs to focus for me as a tag team champion. And I agree. I think Willow's the perfect
It wouldn't
person.
be bad to because I think about it more in a way of I want to see her have continue the downfall. But then I can understand what you're saying with you don't want the championship to be lost just yet, and you want Willow to still be in that running of I kicked your ass at this pay-per-view, I retained my championship, but you still retained your championship against me in singles action when it comes to that aspect.
Yeah. I don't know.
Of course.
Feel mixed about it because I think I if you told me like a month or if you told me now, I'd say Willow is the right choice to beat Mercedes. I would wait for Mercedes.
Double champion Willow.
I would wait for Mercedes to drop all of her other championships, then lose the TBS, and I would wait for Willow to lose the tag titles so she can focus. Because look what happened for the world title, right? Joe has not had a single trio. We haven't had a trios match of Joe in months since he became the world champion. It's killed the trios division. So I'm nervous that if Willow beats Mercedes, we kind of slow halt the tag division because now we need Willow doing the TBS title division and the tag team division. I do think, again, too many championships in general, but I actually am going to go out on a limb. I think Mercedes is actually going to beat Willow on Wednesday, because for that very reason that I said. But I could be wrong. We could be on again. It feels like we're in meltdown mode for Mercedes, which means maybe they want to start the year right with a hot title change on TBS. Because I don't think Jack Perry's beating Ricochet, but I do think there's a better chance they pull the trigger on Willow. But I still think I don't want a singles wrestler, again, a tag wrestler winning another title, which is a singles championship. We can wait for Willow, I think. That's just my take on it. But
No, I completely agree with you.
yeah.
The last time that the title was defended was November 5th, on AEW Dynamite, where of course Shibata, Hobbs, and Joe defeated Page, Adam Page, Kingston, and Hook
That was
to
a while
retain the
ago.
title.
Yeah.
That was over a month ago, almost about to be the new year, so about to be 2 months where we have not seen those titles defended. So
And they could have freebirded it
really
with
got to think
Hook.
about that.
They could have freebirded it with Hook and say, well, Joe's the world champion, so we'll still have those three wrestlers.
They could have even defended it tonight. You know what I mean? They could have added on like just another pre-show match. Go right ahead. It's 0 hour.
So that makes
It's
me
0
nervous.
hours.
That makes me nervous for Willow becoming, not that she can't commit to both. I just think it leaves one thing shorthanded. It's going to either leave the tag division shorthanded or the mid card shorthanded. But again, we'll see this Wednesday on Dynamite. Let's get into, Rami, one of my favorite matches on this show, which was my favorite performer working today. If you follow this channel, you see my Tour of Japan podcast. I can't stop talking about this person. Gabe Kidd getting his first singles match in AEW pay-per-view. He's usually just wrestling with the Death Riders and tag matches. He had a singles match on a Collision earlier this year with Shibata, but this was a pay-per-view singles match.
That was a great match. That was
great. Singles match against Darby Allin. I was shocked at first. I was like, this match is not no DQ, but it felt like one because both guys were dripping blood. Dripping blood. There was a filthy spot. First of all, Darby was getting chucked around with Gabe was just chucking without any help of Darby's body. He did a spot where he pulled Darby into the top of the steel steps. Kind of had never seen a spot like that before. Like the top of the steel step broke. That was
exploded.
Really inventive spot. Gabe threw Darby so hard into the corner that Darby hit head first into the corner and head first into the camera person right next to it. I was like, this is crazy. Darby put Gabe on a chair outside the ring, and then Darby jumped from the top rope to out of the ring for a drop kick. They were
that looked like it hurt Darby more than it hurt Gabe. But like that back bump as well, like golly.
But I'll tell you what did hurt Gabe was Darby hitting a coffin drop from the top rope to out of the ring, and it was filthy. I mean,
twice.
I know, and you could hear it, he just splatted on Gabe. It was filthy. But Gabe was dripping in blood, licking his own blood, licking Darby's blood. Darby wins with a roll up. I love the sell too. When Darby put in the Scorpion Death Drop, that he stopped the hold because he was so exhausted because of all the blood he lost. I thought that was a really smart sell that we don't see in wrestling that often. This match delivered. Like, I was really excited for this match. It was a big opportunity for Gabe because, again, reports are a lot of these New Japan guys are going to be free agents post Wrestle Kingdom. And Gabe was one of them, I believe. So I think this is a good showing that clearly Tony Khan likes Gabe Kidd. He's used him a lot in 2025. Basically, whenever Gabe's not needed in New Japan, he uses him in AEW. I am interested in when the Death Riders turn on Moxley. Could Gabe Kidd be someone who kind of changes the Death Riders? We shall see. But as a Gabe Kidd super fan, still my favorite match of the year is Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. I am very happy to see Gabe Kidd wrestle. Knew Darby was going to win, but love the quick 2 week or 1 week buildup for this match. And we got there. So, Rami, what were your thoughts on Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin?
Dude, fucking not even a disqualification match, and they were no disqualification match, and they were dripping blood, crimson masks, just going all out on each other. It was really good, and like you said, with getting tired in the Scorpion Deathlock, which is funny because the voice in my head, like there's so many voices in my head I fucking like speak off. Like for example, Bret Hart is like, man, I would never give up that hold. I would
Yep.
hold that man there, just kill him right there on the spot. Like those guys, those like really big technicians, they'll hold on to that for hours. With Darby, because and it's so great too, because when Darby is duking it out with Gabe Kidd, all that blood is going everywhere. All you saw Darby Allin's hair, it was dyed red. Basically, he got a new dye job basically on
It
his
was
head. Like it
crazy.
was all soaking red. I'm like, man, like you might as well not even when you shower, your hair is gonna go from red all the way back to black, and it's gonna look fucking disgusting in there. But great match. Gabe Kidd showing why he, of course, is, elite and just doing an amazing job. And of course, like you mentioned, free agency is coming up. David Finley, he might be going a certain other way. Who knows with his, position and his standing.
Yeah.
But Gabe Kidd, he's been, of course, a really big hand with the Death Riders, doing whatever it takes to help them be a henchman, be able to be behind Moxley, from shit talking Moxley to just being by his side and just trying his best. He even sacrificed himself against Darby, as we saw in that cage match when he
Yep.
jumped into those like all those tables. Now we see them go into this bloodbath. I hope we see it continue in the new year, and who knows what maybe it could culminate with it. But of course, great job for both men. Darby keeps the momentum up, but Gabe Kidd shows that we could be seeing that graphic for him as well soon.
Yes. And Kayla says Gabe versus Darby was match of the night for me, just pure violence. It was like if you know the two guys, their work, you were really excited for this match.
12 minutes too, as well. 12
Flew
minutes,
by.
but it felt like 20 minutes. You know
It
what I
did.
mean? Like, and not in a bad way of like
Oh, in a good
there was
way.
just so
Yeah.
much that happened. There was so much. It felt like wow, it's an Iron Man match.
It was, I thought it was really well done. I thought they did a good job showcasing Gabe for the people who have maybe never seen him wrestle like that before.
Exactly.
So Gabe will be in New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom this week. He'll be in a 10-man tag with Hiromu, Drilla Maloney, Finley, and Shingo against United Empire, Andrade, and a mystery partner as well. So we'll see how Gabe does on Sunday at the Tokyo Dome. I think
I
we're going
wonder.
to
I
go.
wonder if any learning trees have been growing in Japan.
Oh, is that what you're saying, Rami? Is that what you're
I,
saying?
I hope not.
That
Just
better not
because
happen. United Empire
I
with
would.
him? No way, dude.
That
No
would no,
way.
it would never happen. But if it happened ever, that would be a universe that I'd create just to spite people. It'd be like, you know what? The Empire has a new leader, and it's the Painmaker. And it's the worst time ever. Oh man, let's move on before I cry.
Let's move on because I don't want we don't need to fancy book Jericho in New Japan for anymore. We just don't at this point. Let's break down the
God awful.
mixed nuts mayhem match, which was really fun. Tony Storm, Mark Briscoe, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, they defeated the Death Riders. This was
And it's funny because Mark
sorry,
Briscoe and
Kayla,
Orange Cassidy right now.
really quick. Do not speak Jericho Wrestle Kingdom into existence. We do not want to see it. This is not 2019, 2018 Jericho.
No, and they've heard me slander Jericho in that timeline and everything like that. So just for me to say that, I feel like I'm just like plotting the devil just to ruin
You are
people's
right now.
night. Like
So
2 in the morning, no, 4 in the morning, nah, I don't care. Whatever
no.
time you're awake at, you're gonna see the learning tree. But Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy right now are at the media scrum right now,
Gotcha.
answering questions. So for us to be talking about this mixed nuts mayhem match,
That's
I
why
don't
I did
like
say that on the air. We said that both of us have said that on the air now officially. So that is a
like
match.
that is
It
that is a
wasn't mixed
match.
nuts because
You know,
Marina Shafir
here's the
kept
thing.
kicking
Here's
people
the
in the
thing.
nuts in this match.
y- it beats a reverse battle royal. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It beats anything like that. But no, this match was just pure comedy. I was fucking like just laughing at every single spot that happened. Everyone was going crazy on each other. Intergender wrestling was shining bright, but most importantly, Roddy Strong and Marina Shafir with
Right.
this one. She goes for her teep kick, fucking drops him to one knee. He gets back up and chops her neck and back. Like what a sequence that was. Just to get that for 6 seconds I think that was just perfect. And then the ending as well, Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm uniting and teaming up the way that they did. It was like one of those movies that you watch, you know what I mean? It was pretty supreme, like a guy named Marty. So whenever we got the ending to this, I thought it was good to be able to see, of course, the faces win and be able to get Roddy back on the same picture. You know what I mean? Like same page, the same picture. Like, man, you belong here. Don't be thinking anything otherwise. Don't let the end of Heartache be the reason why that you're not a happy man. But the Death Riders losing pushed me more onto the side that okay, Moxley might be taking this home tonight because
Yeah,
you can't kick out Moxley if you guys got your asses whooped too. You know
yeah,
what I mean? You
true.
had nothing to, but I will say that entrance that they had, the Death Riders,
Oh yeah,
it already planted seeds as to how they're going to look without Moxley, and them being without Moxley, you know what I mean? Like before his match, not patting him on the back or anything, they showed up in the very end. It was it was very, very telling as to what the future is going to bring
yeah.
after what we saw.
Yeah, Brian did bring up on the broadcast. He was like, Marina usually slaps Moxley to get ready for these matches, and where was she? And they did bring it up, which was good. But yeah, I thought like OC and Tony like dancing together was a lot of fun. And yeah, Roddy every time and Kayla saying Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy dancing to the match got a good chuckle, and I popped huge every time Roddy and Marina were in the ring together. The whole crowd popped. It's really cool, and you could definitely tell they were trying not to smile.
Locked in.
Yeah, that's what Kayla said. Rami, we are so locked in. But it was really funny. You could tell Roddy and Marina were trying not to smile when they're in the ring together, like chopping each other, hitting. Like I thought that was a really funny, really sweet moment. You could tell they're definitely having fun being in this. They've basically been together in ring the last like month or so. Basically, they've been feuding. Roddy's been feuding with Death Riders. Marina's been on the outside, which has been always like, oh my god, the husband and wife, are they going to face off? And they did culminate in them facing off tonight, which I thought was a lot of fun. But
Yeah, they had that one moment where they did face up, but it was more like a smile that she
yeah,
cracked off. But then next time she was like, "I'm answering with violence." So for him to reciprocate that, that's what you call love.
yeah.
Um,
Tony
that's
Storm
crazy to say.
also suplexing Garcia and Yuta, which was a lot of fun. Good on everyone for just being a good sport in this match. But Mark Briscoe won with the J Driller. He is the TNT champion. He just defended it against Garcia weeks ago. So let's now, Rami, it's the home stretch, the final 3 matches on the show. Chris Statlander defeated Jamie Hayter to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. I thought they had a really good kick-ass match here. Statlander has
Hmm.
been one of the more underrated women in pro wrestling, I would say, over the last 2 years. Because even 2024, she had consecutive great matches with Mercedes on pay-per-view for the TBS Championship. And then kicking off this year, she felt kind of lost in the shuffle at the beginning of the year. But as she became more of a focal point in the top of the women's division, she just continues to have amazing matches. Always good to see Jamie Hayter back in the mix. Now, this was weird. I really thought this could have been a triple threat because Tekla has been surrounding this feud the whole time. And I thought it was weird they didn't incorporate Tekla at all. I assume maybe Tekla will be the next challenger, I think, is what I think they'll do for Statlander. But I thought this match was really good. Hard hitting. Jamie did like a missile drop kick off the announce table. That's a spot you usually do not see. The craziest spot was that suplex, like almost like a blue thunder bomb that Statlander hit off the top rope. It was filthy. Like she turned all the way like 360. They both hit their finishers on each other, which I thought was you never see that in AEW. I was like, cool. Like Statlander rocked her with the haterade. I was like, that was
Oh
actually a
yeah.
really good haterade. And Statlander got the win. I thought this match was really, really good. And I'm happy. And again, the right person won as well, Rami.
Of course, right person won, but like Hayter went all out crazy. Her face was like pink from all those blows and all those smacks that she took, and she kept trying to go for more. She was like Frankenstein. She was just trying to keep going forward and forward,
Yeah.
and try to win back the championship again. But like you mentioned, Tekla not being involved, it makes you wonder, huh? Will it, add on to Wednesday night where we see the Sisters of Sin and Tekla attack Statlander and Hayter if these two have another face off? Because Hayter was showing off heel, instincts in the last couple of weeks and
Yeah.
everything, just trying to have that upper hand. So when she wins the championship back, she didn't have that upper hand here tonight. But of course, Statlander with a strong run, strong reign as well. And she's shown herself so much. The last 6 months of her AEW run have been really incredible and be able to pay off in such a great way as well. Winning the championship off of Storm, defending it against her as a month later to really cement it, and just keeping it going and going. New Year is going to be really bright for her, but of course, Hater can be back in that picture. But like you said,
Yeah.
Tekla is right there. Tekla has defeated, what do you call it? Has defeated the very best, and is going
Yes.
to be doing doing the utmost to get back into the picture for the Women's World Championship, and she's got the system of Sim right there behind her back. So this ain't no Continental Classic rules. This is going to be what she wants it to be. So I cannot wait to see what happens next for the Triangle of Madness and for the world title picture.
Yes. Caitlin says Tekla's for sure winning that. I really hope so, because as someone who
Me
watched
too.
Stardom, Tekla was not, let's just say, it was just uninspired. Her last run in her last like year or so in Stardom, it wasn't like great in ring work. But when she went to AEW, she has really taken off. Like, I love her promo work in AEW because her in ring work was always very solid. But I think she does translate so well to American television. So I'm really excited for a Tekla Statlander feud. But I thought this match was really good. It was just good to see Jamie back in this spot. She had her first world title run cut short due to a very long injury. She was out for over a year. So it's just cool to see Jamie back in this. And she got hurt again this year as well. So it's really, really cool to see Jamie back in this spot doing so well in the women's world title feud. Semi-main event, Okada Moxley for the Continental Classic Championship. We had some promos, which were the Continental Classic videos they usually do, but they did it before the match. So Okada and Don Callis cut a promo, and Moxley cut such a babyface promo, which is like, I win, lose, or draw, Okada, you're going to have to kill me for me to lose this match. And the whole crowd got into it. So Okada and Moxley wrestled a very methodical, very slow match, which for me made sense because they had already wrestled on the show. The last thing you're expecting when you're wrestling twice in one night is another fast-paced match. I thought it was really smart. They worked on Moxley's ankle and leg throughout the entire match. They had some good shots in there. There was a low blow from Okada. Moxley then gave Okada a low blow. Moxley's finish, though, was a filthy Death Rider. Like, he hung Okada in the air for a long time, then connected on it after a couple paradigm shifts. And the person that I think, if you told people at the beginning of the Continental Classic who would win the tournament, I don't think many people thought Jon Moxley, Rami, was going to win this whole tournament. And here we are, and the crowd popped very much when he won. And it also weirdly felt like the right decision when you're watching the show. It was the storyline of the tournament, which was Jon Moxley. He's been cutting babyface promos for weeks. He's been working babyface. He hasn't been flipping off the fans. They were chanting "Let's go Moxley" in this match throughout the entire thing. He cut an amazing promo after the match. Now, I'll tell you this, Rami. I bought a ticket. I thought the Death Riders were going to turn on him tonight because they all came out and celebrated. They all stood in the ring like single file and were like staring him down. I was like, is this the night they're going to pull the trigger on Moxley? And I think what they're doing is they want it to be as shocking as they can make it, because I think everyone knows this is eventually going to happen. But they did not choose to do it tonight, which I think is interesting. But what were your thoughts, Rami, on the match and also the post-match promo for Moxley as well?
The match already from off the bat felt like, okay, like Moxley should be taking every single step of this. Like I mentioned, like he's like the Toronto Blue Jays. Like he's the team and the guy that deserves it all, even though like for the last year we've just been despising him.
Yeah.
Like what he did to Danielson, what he did to Mox, what he did to Jay White, what he did to Cope, Christian Cage, every single person he fought, he
Yeah.
put them down and out. He ruined their lives. He made sure that he was a spike in their veins. But when it came to this moment and the last couple of weeks, being more so like a baby face, John Moxley, and it's been really nice because but that's the thing too. I wanted to mention is that this is what he wanted the whole time. When he turned heel or like he quote unquote turned heel. I know people are gonna say he suffocated his best friend and his partner with a plastic bag. I get it, but AEW was showing signs of weakness. AEW was showing signs of content. They were content with where they were. Oh, we're on TV. It's perfectly fine. The second he steps in, and the second he suffocates Danielson, beats him for the championship,
Yeah.
retires him, and puts him in his briefcase, everyone, if you wanted to shot at the world title, you have to step up. And so many people tried to step up, and there was moments where he almost lost it. He didn't. Heyman Adam Page came in, he loses it. Swerve Strickland comes back, Samoa Joe's in the picture, MJF is in the picture. We see those top four guys, running for that long shot. But look at what, Moxley did in this entire Continental Classic. He went against Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeah.
Very, very great match. We were like on the edge of our seat, like, oh my goodness, who's gonna win this one? He went against Claudio Castagnoli. Another match where we were like, the winner of this really determines who's the leader. And it's crazy that in the end, Claudio wins and he's not even the leader now. We're not
Yeah.
even thinking about him being the leader because of what Moxley's been able to do. Moxley picked up a big upset over Cassidy. He picked up a big win over Roddy Strong. He was able to keep himself open, get to that semifinals, and just what a phenomenal match it was. What a great match. What a way to turn things around and just to take the title off of Okada. Okada did not need the championship any longer. And if it was somebody me, whether it was Fletcher and they build this new big era of the Protostar, that would have been great. But you give it to Moxley, an Iron Man of the league, another legend holding the championship, just like Okada. It was very great to see, and like we thought that line of the Death Riders thinking that they were going to
Yeah.
attack and put him out cold. It didn't happen, but there's no telling what's going to happen in the future, especially with 2026, of course, what next week.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I am not a fan with what they've done with the unified title because when Okada beat Kenny at All In, I was like, great. Let's combine championships. Because again, my biggest issue just in wrestling is that there's too many titles. But then they established with this tournament that if Okada lost, he was no longer the unified champion. He would just be the international champion. And someone else would be the I think now there's like 5 singles championships in just AEW, and that's not counting Ring of Honor. There's a lot of singles titles on the men's side. I think it's too much. I thought the unified thing was a really smart move. Have a title like that, but with the Continental rules, I was all for that. But now we're back to Okada's still the international champion, and now Moxley is the Continental. I'm just not the biggest fan of that. But Moxley really has become Mr. AEW. And it's funny because he obviously
I was with the AEW.
Yeah. Oh, well,
All of a sudden we're taking names now. But anyways, go on.
Moxley babyface turn. He's now Misty. I know. But I think Moxley really is the foundation of the company. He's very much still going to be known for his, how long, let's just say, 8-9 years in WWE. Obviously, one of the most important factions in pro wrestling history. Obviously, did a lot of things in WWE, but he obviously showed up at that first AEW pay-per-view with Double or Nothing. And since that point, he has been honestly the most reliable wrestler they have had in AEW. Whenever they've had problems backstage, he gets put into situations to fix problems. If they need a champion just for a month or two, they put Moxley in that situation. Everyone's like, give him a vacation. He's on the show, Collision and Dynamite. I swear, every single week. As someone who watches the show, it is rare to have a show without Jon Moxley. And I agree. He is AEW's ace. He is what Tanahashi, I think, is to New Japan. I think he's even like what a Kurt Angle was to TNA at a time. He just feels like such an AEW guy at this point. And that's tough because, again, he was in the Shield, one of the most important groups in pro wrestling history, won the WWE World Championship, won the Intercontinental. He did so many good things in WWE, but it's amazing in just 6 years, he feels very much like an AEW guy. And that's all credit to him, the company, and all of that. He just feels like a guy who bleeds AEW, Rami, I think, at this point.
For sure, I completely agree with you. And like I was a big rider for him in those little E days. Like when I first discovered him, the Shield debut, I was like, who is this handsome devil of a man? 14-year-old me or 12-year-old me? I was like, my goodness, who the hell is this man? And look at everyone how they've gone down their own paths. For Moxley, he leaves WWE. Everyone expects him to most likely go back. A lot of people would be going
Yeah.
there, but he did not want to. He wanted to be back to the same style that he was truly, the guy that he, which is John Moxley, and shows up at AEW. And people can say what they want about the reigns or the matches that he has, but what I saw from this past year was he put on a title reign where it was so hard to defeat the final boss until you got the final boss in your own game of a
Yeah.
Texas death match to be able to take it away. And then after the final boss, his armor is broken, you have everybody finally getting their big shots in. But what happens? He takes his time, he recuperates, he rethinks, he goes in the Continental Classic, and then he walks out with his big championship. He might be a babyface, but we all know he's gonna be a bigger babyface whenever Claudio Castagnoli puts that bullet or that
Yeah.
knife in the back of his back of his head. So it's gonna be very, very exciting to see what happens going forward.
The moment I realized Pac was not there, I was like, they probably shouldn't do this turn without Pac. I thought you need the complete Death Riders in there if you're gonna do the full turn. But
Yeah, like what's that guy's name? Willie in Simpsons. He's just in the back, like working out. Like I can't do it yet.
that's
I'm not
always
doing
Pac.
it yet.
He's always working out. Yeah. That guy
He's
is
always working out.
But yeah, Moxie cut an amazing promo after, just thanking the fans, the Death Riders, and saying basically what you said. This is what he wanted. He said, "This is what I wanted from AEW. There's no better company than this. There's no better wrestlers than this." So let's move on now. We're over an hour in, Rami. Main event time. Fatal 4-way for the world title. Samoa Joe, Swerve, Hangman, and the newly crowned world champion MJF. I thought this match was really good. It was fun at first when Swerve and MJF were like mocking each other at the beginning of this match. Very funny stuff. There's a buckshot lariat where Swerve, like off his back, propelled Hangman into a buckshot lariat on Samoa Joe. I honestly would buy Hangman and Swerve doing tag stuff. Like their tag team stuff has been really good. I'm very fascinated what they do with those two characters. Like, are they back away from each other now, or are they going to keep moving? Hangman hit a Angel's Wings as always, but the finish was the Ops got involved as always, but they all got taken away, and MJF snuck in and got the win over Samoa Joe because, again, it made sense if Max was going to win, was to beat Samoa Joe, because when Max got hurt, he dropped the title at World's End to
Revenge.
Samoa Joe from 2 years ago.
Revenge.
So MJF, again, this year, 2025, was all about him putting over a lot of people. He lost to Hangman consecutive pay-per-views. He lost to Mark Briscoe. He was not winning a lot of feuds this year. He went on to act, obviously. But now he is back. He put in that contract. He's the world champion. I think this was the right move because, again, Samoa Joe, both his title reigns, I thought were very solid. I think a lot of people are still mad because, people think Hangman's reign was short. I'm tired of every reign being defined by length. Like, it's just about not every reign needs to be 3 years long or 6 to 8 months long to feel like a good reign. I thought Hangman had a very good reign. It was a really shock title change. And here we are. MJF sneaks it from Samoa Joe. It's going to be interesting where we go from here, honestly, because these are 4 of the biggest stars in the company, especially MJF, Swerve, and Hangman. Where do we go from here, Rami? But what were your thoughts overall on this 4-way and the decision putting the belt back on MJF?
It is weird to see 3 to 4 months of a title reign for him Adam Page with all the
Yeah.
momentum he built up and everything to get the championship off of Moxley. I do like that they gave the championship to Samoa Joe because it cemented that Samoa Joe is who he says he is. This isn't going to be one of those feuds where Hangman beats the guy 3 months in a row and everything, and then moves on to the next guy. He's gonna lose a championship one way or another. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be like how on the other side, where not to bring this up, a whole lot, but like we see Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's had so many title shots, never won a title. Now they're like, oh, he's gonna win the world title now. But that's the thing, he's already fought 7, 8 times for it. Samoa Joe fought 2, 3 times for it in a Hangman reign, and then he finally wins the championship in a big shocker after getting Hook back on his side. But now we're able to see a fatal four-way where it's back in the whole I fought these guys in a triple threat, and I fought this guy one-on-one 2 years ago in his home, and where I got the win in front of his best friend, and he got betrayed even worse. Like that was and MJF has had a very, very fucking crazy year. Like he went from,
Crazy.
hey, this guy is now part of the freaking Hurt Syndicate. He wins
Yeah.
this world title opportunity, and then all of a sudden, at tables and tax mats, where the Mark Briscoe just absolutely kills him. He takes some time off, goes and films Violent Night 2, just comes back, says, I remember, all of you bitches are dead. And my God, that ending honestly was just so cool. Because Samoa Joe's not the guy who holds the title for long, you know what I mean? We saw him
Yeah.
hold it for like what, maybe 2, maybe 3 months at best, and then he lost it to Swerve Strickland. We wanted to elevate that next guy. MJF finally gets into this big title picture. Who else if it was a triple threat, Samoa Joe wins it. You know what I mean? But because that MJF is right there, it was the perfect picture. Even if Samoa Joe would have gotten hit with maybe a third buckshot lariat,
Sure.
Swerve was still alive. Swerve was still trying to go out there. And also, not only that, what if Samoa Joe would have changed that out and got a sleeper hold in and put Hangman Adam Page out? There's so many scenarios that we could see going on, but it's so nice to see that MJF won the championship back, won it back at Worlds End, got that revenge. That's what it was all about. Because once I
Yeah.
saw Samoa Joe, I was like, oh my God. And then also it was also a beautiful moment too when he hit the Panama Sunrise.
Yeah.
I was very happy about that, and to get the title back. And I remember that guy was in your corner before he betrayed you, but he was in your
That's her.
corner, and to be able to win the world championship back. It's gonna be very interesting how this year goes out. The new year is all about Maxwell, Jacob Friedman. It's all about Happy Gilmore too. It's all about seeing what happens next because it's just gonna be very exciting how Hangman Adam Page reacts to this, how Swerve reacts to this. Will they be involved in the world title picture, or will they team up and maybe we see them fight FTR if Cope and Cage are not involved in the picture?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot
Yeah.
of options. I think the one that's laying out there too is obviously, sadly, the Young Bucks are hurt. And Kenny Omega did say on Wednesday, I got to finish some unfinished business with something. I think Kenny Omega could be back in the world title picture as well in early 2026. Going to be fascinating. MJF, we do know his first challenger, Rami. He'll be facing Bandito for the world championship at Maximum Carnage, which is January 14th. So they'll get 2 dynamites of buildup before Maximum Carnage for MJF and Bandito. Looks like MJF's going to be fully committed to the AEW moving forward. As of now, there's not like a report where he's going to be filming anything anytime soon. And obviously, I don't think they would put the title on him if he's going to be off filming movies for months and months and months. So I think it's the right move. And I am I think Joe needs to go back and focus on the trios division with the ops. Let's have Joe, Shibata, and Hobbs honestly lose the tag belts to someone. If that's Hangman, Swerve, and someone, cool. Let's fit, is it Kenny and the Young Bucks? We'll see. But I think I think Kenny is a really good person to have in the picture. And Tony kind of said before, Will Ospreay will be back in the first half of 2026. So at some point in the next
That's
6
actually
months,
really fucking tough.
in the next 6 months, Will Ospreay will be back. Obviously, Will Ospreay and MJF had an amazing feud in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
MJF beat him in a 60-minute match, and then Ospreay returned the favor at All In. All In is back in London this year at the Wembley. So Ospreay is obviously going to be a major factor. I think AEW is in a really good spot, I think, heading into 2026. They've given the title again back to a guy who is under 30 years old, which I always find really exciting when your top guy is not 45 years old. No offense to Joe. I think it's more exciting overall when you have a young, youthful, in their prime world champion. I think Kyle Fletcher has a chance to be world champion by the end of the year. I think Ospreay has a championship, could have a run. And Kenny Omega, I also think, could have a shot in this world title feud. Kayla saying Ospreay's for sure to win that title All In. I don't know. Ospreay has already had a big championship win at All In. And it was also over MJF. So would they just like repeat that in like 6 months? Who knows? But I think it's exciting. And Hangman and Swerve, still one of the greatest stories in the history of pro wrestling. Every time they face off, the crowd, everyone goes nuts wherever you're watching. So I'm here honestly for Hangman and Swerve to be a tag team. I think it's a good move. It keeps them away from the world title picture, but still keeping them in important stuff. And if they wrestle FTR, that could be a match of the year candidate. So honestly, before we close things off, Rami, what are your thoughts on AEW heading into the new year, heading into 2026? Do you think they're going into a good spot? What are they missing? Whatever you think for AEW heading into 2026.
Oh, they've hit a really big boom and everything, and they're just gonna keep going further and further with so many great things that they're doing. The Continental Classic was proof that Inosuke Takeshita, the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, is gonna have a really massive 2026. Like he didn't win the championship at the end of the day, but he's still the freaking king of New Japan, and he has a really, really big match coming up at Wrestle Kingdom. Jon Moxley, of course, the ace of AEW. He's gonna be going further with a very, very interesting babyface turn, and I cannot wait to see what happens with him and Claudio Castagnoli. If Claudio has some things to say about that, of course, Claudio Castagnoli as well. There's just so many listed names with these guys: Orange Cassidy, Mascara Dorada, Roddy Strong, Speedball, Jungle Jack Perry, Pac, Kevin Knight, Okada, and
The
Fletcher.
elite.
All of
Yeah.
these guys are gonna be there's gonna be so many elite moments that we see from them, and then we see Ospreay come back. We still see Swerve in the picture, Hangman in the picture, FTR, Jay White still has yet to
Yeah.
come back. You know, the Guns have yet to be truly formed with Colton being back in the picture. So AEW is always doing exciting things. That's the reason why I've always wanted to talk about them on these post shows,
Yeah.
whether it's pay-per-views, whether it's Dynamite, Collision, the 3 hour shows, anything that we see from them. They're putting on very, very great shows and very great matches, and the stories always come back together. It's not like you have to wait 5 years later and be like, oh, see, long-term storytelling, and it really didn't make any sense unless they wanted to just get a cheap pop. But 2 years later, you see MJF win back the world championship, and I cannot wait to see what happens going forward because he's going to be gloating it all. It's going to be a big fuck you to every single
Yeah.
person. Mark Briscoe's going to be pissed off. Hangman, Swerve, Samoa Joe, the whole world is heated. Like the only person who's happy is Alicia Tout, and that's because that's his freaking wife.
That's
Like
right.
just in general, you know what I mean? But it's going to be very exciting to see what happens, and I cannot wait to see going forward. And plus, the new year, it's gonna be a lot of opportunities. Hopefully AEW, you get that approval for the media for Revolution, so I can be able to
Yeah,
freaking,
Rami,
get there. Come on, get me there.
you'll go.
Manifest
I'm
it,
telling you right
right?
now, you're going to
I
Revolution
I,
or
I got it. You know
BodySlam.net.
what I mean?
And you're going to ask someone a
Exactly.
question at those pressers, Rami. I can see it today. I'm telling you.
The number one question that I have on mind is like, of course, a twisted metal question for a certain, sweet tooth.
Oh,
So of course, if somebody hears this and they steal it, coming after you. But of course,
yeah,
um,
in March,
you know what I
you'll be there. I'm not manifesting it
exactly.
because guess what? We also just want to let everyone know here at BodySlam, we have multiple people currently at the venue covering the post show
Yeah.
for BodySlam. So definitely follow
Shout out
Amber.
Cassidy Haynes, of course. Shout out
Yep.
Amber. Great photography. Just shout out to everybody, of course, who is in attendance and who goes to these shows every single time, whether you're going to AEW or any other company, independent, other majors. Just it's very, very great, and I'm very, very happy to see Body Slam continue to grow every single day, every single week. The year that we are in 2025, hopefully it becomes even bigger than we've ever seen in 2026 and going forward.
Yes, I just want to say too, I'm very thankful that obviously my year started. I was not here. Here I am very early in 2025. I'm very happy to be here. I was credentialed at all the AEW shows in Philadelphia, that 7-show span in 4 weeks. It was really a dream come true to be credentialed, ask Tony Khan a question, all of those things. So yeah, Kayla, Rami, you will get to do media at Revolution. I believe. There's no believing. It's gonna happen. That's the next pay-per-view for AEW. It's Revolution at Crypto.com Arena, formerly known as Staples Center. Rami's gonna be there because I'm just gonna say it right now. Rami will absolutely be there representing Body Slam and doing some great coverage for us down in
Hopefully.
downtown Los Angeles. But
Yeah,
that,
at the former Staples Center where Kobe Bean Bryant hit
yeah.
all those beautiful, game winners, championship games, all Shaquille O'Neal, Oscar De La Hoya had so many fights. There's so many things that happen at Staples Center. We're not gonna call it crypto because we don't believe in that fake coin.
Yeah.
But exactly, but I'm hoping to be there because my goodness, like why wouldn't I want to be in the greatest place on earth?
It's a great arena, and I think it will be a really fun night of AEW because it was a really good show also this year earlier was Revolution. So that is at least my final show here in 2025. Really great year. I thought it was a really good show. I don't think it was like their best show of the year, but I still thought, again, they just deliver on all these pay-per-views as always. So Rami, take us home. Where can people find you on social media? Tell people what you do for Body Slam and all those fun things.
Of course, you can find me on all my socials at Who Else But Rami. I'm on, of course, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, any place that you can find me on. On top of that, of course, I have done interviews for the last couple of months and everything. I've interviewed, of course, Royce Isaacs, High-End, Kid Bandit, Ryan Clancy, and then recently as well, I interviewed yesterday Janai Kai, the Kick Demon. That interview should be coming out tomorrow with so many reels being posted on Instagram that you can be able to check it out. You can be able to watch the full interview on YouTube and anywhere else that you get your streams from.
Yeah.
But of course, shout out to Janai Kai. That was a great interview that we had. So much that we spoke about with her Lodestone seminar with Bailey, Charlotte Flair, Ivy Nile, and so many other incredible independent women. And I cannot wait to see it happen. Of course, you can follow me at Who Else But Rami on all my socials. And thank you so much to everybody who follows me and anyone who's followed me in this 2025. 2026 should be big. I'm only going to be 26, but so are the rims. Shout out to Hollywood and Dead for that one, for a corny ass line. But of course, Max, where can they find you at?
You can find. Sorry, rolling my eyes. Just a gut reaction to whenever Rami brings up the corny jokes. There, it's always great. Rami always brings them. He's ready at all times. You can find me at Dinenberg Max on Twitter, at Max Dinenberg on Instagram. For Body Slam, I do everything. I do the post shows for WWE, AEW, NXT, Ring of Honor. I'll talk about Tour of Japan in a second. For social media, I do highs and lows, basically 6 nights a week. I do Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, Collision. I break down the highs and lows, so you can go to Body Slam's Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for those videos. Also, please subscribe to our Patreon channel. We break news, pro wrestling news all the time. It really helps everyone here at Body Slam who work for Body Slam. Please subscribe to our Patreon for some unbelievable pro wrestling news. You can also find me here on Tour of Japan starting back this Friday in 2026. We're going to start the new year back off on a right note. Me and Blackhawk every Friday from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It is late for me. Don't blame myself. It's 1:40 in the morning. But we're going to be doing a full preview for Wrestle Kingdom as well as Noah's New Year show this upcoming Friday. And then a week from tonight, in the wee hours of the morning, I'm not going to be sleeping. Blackhawk's not sleeping because we're going to be doing a live post show breaking down Wrestle Kingdom. So we're going to break down all the good stuff from Wrestle Kingdom as well. So a special episode of Tour of Japan. Rami and I are going to be on 2 post shows in 2026, at least in January, because we have Saturday night's main event and we have the Royal Rumble to wrap up January in 2026. We're not, as you can tell by Rami's face, I don't think he's the most excited.
I love it. I looked completely away. I was like, oh, brother. Like,
Yes.
I'm already sleep deprived. Don't bring me up about this. Like,
Saudi Arabia, day show for us in the States. So I'm not going to be up until the wee hours watching that. So, and sorry, really quick, wrestling. I saw you on YouTube. Aloha from Chicago. Just want to say, he said Moxley's pay-per-view was the biggest of the night. It really was a big moment on the show. So thanks for everyone. We had nearly 500 people watch us, which really means the world to us, especially for AEW.
Hell yeah.
Very, very cool. So again, thanks for everyone. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful holiday and everyone have a great new year. And at least on my end, I will see you guys in 2026. Thanks everyone for joining us.